Hey, it's Alex at Cain Performance. Today we're going to go over a real quick video on rep ranges and the goals of those rep ranges in the way that I train people and the way that I train my athletes. So up on the board behind me are a few rep ranges. As you can see, we start at the short ones and get longer as we go down. Each of these is broken down by the intent of that rep range and the percentage of your 1 rep max that I like to train that with. So your 1 rep max is obviously the maximum amount of weight that you can lift successfully for 1 rep. I'll get into how to calculate that without killing yourself in another video, but for today's purposes, I have the percentages up here. So as you can see, in the 1 to 4 rep range, and that's per set, so you can do multiple sets of these. I use it only for maximal strength and for 90% or higher of your 1 rep max. So these sets generally are very, very short, very intense, and require a lot of rest afterwards. So if I have someone doing, say, 6 to 10 singles at above 90%, they're probably getting between 4 and 6 minutes of rest in between them. If it's really, really pushing up into the higher 90th percentile of their strength. Moving further down, 4 to 8 reps, I use for 2 different things, and the percentage of the 1 rep max changes depending on the goal. So I use 4 to 8 reps for power, developing power, which I generally use 40 to 60% of 1 rep max for. The reason for that is when you're training power, it's strength over time. So the intention is to move the weight very, very quickly. It's an incredibly intense and ballistic movement. So you're not able to lift as much weight and keep the speed behind it. That is also going to make it really, really taxing on your central nervous system, just like working above 90% would. So rest is a little bit longer on those if we're really crushing power on something like a trap bar deadlift and you're just ripping weight off the floor as hard as you can, you're going to have to rest a little bit. The other thing I use the 4 to 8 rep range for is strength development between 80 and 90% of 1 rep max. That way you can usually get away with 1 to 3 minutes of rest depending on the person and how heavy you're lifting, and you can really, really add a lot of strength over a shorter period of time. The next rep range, 8 to 12 reps. This is the golden hypertrophy range for bodybuilding. So this is going to add some size to you. Rest for this is generally between 60 and 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes if you're really, really squeezing every rep out of it you can for that 12. Rest gets shorter as you go down, recovery is a lot faster the lower the intensity of the exercise is, and try not to confuse muscular fatigue with central nervous system fatigue. So the power stuff, the heavier stuff, central nervous system fatigue. As you get rep ranges longer and longer, it's more muscular fatigue. All right, the stuff that'll make you sore the next day, okay? Down here I have 12 to 15 reps per set, and that is all muscular endurance. So if you're trying to build up that type 1 muscle fiber that's going to recover quickly, rest is generally 30 to 60 seconds. It's pretty straightforward. Make it burn and get out. And then for 15 plus reps, I generally use it for rehab exercises or something that has an aerobic component to it. So higher reps, we're generally shooting for volume with that, or to correct some kind of muscle imbalance or misfiring muscle or something that's underactive. So for example, like a rotator cuff exercise, you're probably going to do 15-ish reps. It shouldn't be the most grueling reps of your life. You should just feel it working and then rest briefly and try it again. Rest for that kind of stuff is generally completely up to the client. As soon as you're ready to go, you go again. So this is how I train people with rep ranges and the purposes throughout. If you have questions about that or how best to apply it and plug it into your own programming, shoot me an email, hit me in the comments below, and we'll get some answers for you there too. All right?